Okay, I'm going to need to build a little fire so I can boil some water. And coming down where I'm at right now, down here by the creek, I passed over this log, and as you can see, it's pretty well rotted. Again, for those looking for punk wood, here it is here. It's all just rotted, and some of this is real dry, and I'm going to try to take some of this later and make some char wood out of it. But that's just good for that. But again, you have the center core. Hear that? And I'm thinking that's going to be fat lighter. And so I'm going to see if I can't break off some of this with these limbs. And there you have that fat lighter. Yep, you can smell the turpentine in it. You can see the dark orange colors. So this is all fat lighter. This trunk here, that's all going to be fat lighter as well. And again, you can smell the turpentine in it and see the colors. So I'm just going to take this piece down here to the camp and work it up and get a little small fire going so I can boil that wood. Boil the water. It rained pretty much all day yesterday, sometimes pretty hard. So I was really glad about that because I wanted to come out here and try to make fire and things with everything wet. And so I've got the fat lighter stump. I've got the piece of the limb that I cut off, and I am shaving it down. This is a Schrade 9, what do they call it? The SCHF 9N. I really like this knife. I love the size of it. It's a 12-inch knife. It's got a 1/4-inch spine. It's got a full tang. I have yet to put a rope on it. I've got to do that. But I love this knife, and I'm really putting it through some paces today. But I'm taking my shavings. I've got my shirt down to hold everything together. I've got some material in there I could have put down instead. But I'm doing just taking the shaving, this stick down to make some shavings. I've got a little piece of bark here that I'm going to set it on down, and we'll start my fire here in just a second. So I'm just shaving this fat lighter down into nice little shavings. Got some dust with it. And I'll get my fire kit and put it together, and then we'll start this up, get some water boiling, and cook up some breakfast. Okay, I am processing this piece of fat wood that I brought up. I have set this piece of bark down, and I'm using it to hold everything. Here are the shavings that I've made. This is some of the wet stuff that I'm shaving off the outside edge of it. As you can see here, that dark stuff is damp, and so I'm taking my knife and shaving that off, and I'm just setting that there. And then this is the fat lighter portions of it that I am processing. And I was using the stump that I cut off and beating on it, and I ended up driving it into the ground. And so I've got my hatchet here. This is just a cheap hatchet that I'm using, but I'm using that to put the wood on, and taking my knife and cutting it and processing it down. Hopefully that's showing what I'm doing. But of course you don't want to do this. Anybody that's watching alone saw Mary Kate cutting her tendon in her thumb with her axe. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking this, and that's the reason I love this 1/4-inch spline, and I'm just taking it and setting it down into the piece of the wood, and then taking my hatchet, my axe, and slicing it down in through it, and then just breaking it open, and then taking my knife to shave off that back area of the bark that's still on it, that's wet, just to expose the fat lighter inside. Okay, And so what I'll do now is just break off another one of these. I've had this little hatchet for years, and I sharpened it up. This is my first time taking it out, so I'm noticing that it's not going to work very well. I need to get a better one that's got a sharper edge to it. Again, just cleaning off all that wet bark on the back. And then setting this down on my fat lighter stump, putting it in using the back of the hatchet, driving it in, and then batoning it down through. All right. Now, with that set up, got me enough wood to make some breakfast. I'll go ahead and get my stove set up, and then I'll bring you back in. Okay, I've got it set up. I was going to use my firebox, but I decided not to. I used this knockoff on the Esbit stove on my last hike, and I used it with some fuel tabs. And this time I just wanted to try it using this fat lighter. I think it would hold it together a little bit better, and I just want to see how it would do. So let me get the camera set up again, and we'll get this lighted, get this lit. Hopefully that's in there. I bought this Schrade 9 when we moved out here, and I stopped by the Smoky Mountain Knife Works there in Sevierville, Tennessee. Love that place, and picked this up and with the sheath, and then added the fire starter to it. So I'm going to use that this morning to get this started. Might need to put some dust in it. Let me see if I can get some dust. Again, I'm just taking the edge of my knife and just striking it against the fat lighter, and that's creating a dust that will take the spark better. It's starting. There it goes. All right. So I'll just feed this up a little bit, get a fire going, and get my water boiling.